Happy October! I thought we'd do a ghost for today. I started off, as always, making a blob. and I was just doing like one coat of white oil pastel on here, and it's actually like, it has this very cool effect where, because it's still like a little sheer, it'll have like the black poking through the white a little bit when it smears. So I figured like, if I were to do another video on this, I would just have kind of this like ethereal, like half coat of oil pastel running through. But because what I wanted to focus on in this video was how to do fabric folds and how to paint them, I figured I would actually just go in and fill this out, but I thought this was like a really cool place to start the video to just give you an idea of the different effects and textures you can get from oil pastel. So I'm just gonna come in and clean up the rest of this and make it all white and try to create just a uniform coat of white. So as you see, it's like not very uniform because you're getting in a lot of the texture of the background canvas, but you can just go in and blend it out. Just do that right here pretty quickly. A little later in this video, I'm gonna talk about my new book slash zine that I'm releasing that's based on the webcomic called The Grimsley Bits that I started last year. And I'm pretty excited for it, honestly. I never thought I'd be able to illustrate a book, but here we are. So for the moment, we just have a ghost, one arm out, one arm up. Just gonna even out these shapes a little bit, add in a little bit more white. Cool. So, the main character in my book is a ghost named John Grimsley, which is why I bring it up. It also features a witch and like the weird creatures that occupy their household. But yeah, so here we go. We have like a pretty good coat of just normal like white. It's like not the most opaque, like you can still see a little bit of the background, but I think it's pretty good for now. So the main point of this video is, as I said, I wanted to talk about fabric. So if you see down here, it's a little bit like uneven, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about how to bring like folds into fabric. And the way to do that is very similar to how I created depth in the pumpkin video, the last video that I did. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna brush off this white oil pastel. Literally after all of these videos, I'm covered in pastel, which is the best feeling in the world, honestly. But it's a lot of fun. These are really fun. So the first thing you need to do is you have to pick a color palette for whatever you're drawing. So if you have fabric, let's say you're drawing velvet, how do I explain this? Basically, like, to make the shadows, you're gonna want colors that are like within the same range. So if you have red velvet, the shadow is gonna be just a darker shade of red and then eventually black. And the highlight is just gonna be brighter, like pink, lighter red. But if you have something that's shiny, like obviously if you have like tinfoil or something, like if you look at this, the highlights are like, yes, they're white, but there's also like some blue and some like tan as a reflection of my skin. So you have to really think about that when dissecting what you're drawing. And because this is a ghost who has just a white sheet, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick, I think I'm gonna go with like light blue to do the shading in the background. So, and as you can tell, my fingerprints are now all over this, which is fine because it's a ghost and like that's the point, transparency. But I'll also teach you how to fix that at the end of the video. So the first thing we want to do is we want to see where the shadows are going to be. So obviously you're going to have shadows at the bottom of the drape or whatever fabric that you're painting, and they kind of make these ruffles that you normally see with ghosts. Let's see if I can get that in. Okay, Cool. So what you want to do is you first want to isolate how many folds of fabric do you want? So here I'll just do like one there, and then maybe one going back here, and then one up front. We're just gonna differentiate these a little bit. Doesn't need to be perfect, but you can just do a couple. Yeah, and then we'll have one coming up kind of like half. So let's see, what's the best way to show this? There we go, cool. So now that you've differentiated just a little bit, lighting is not my friend today. You're just gonna wanna come in and create shadows. So shadows for fabric are gonna go anywhere near the back of where something is. So when things are rounded, you see they're gonna come forward like this, and so towards the back, so basically on the sides of the like cylinder that you're drawing, you're gonna see that it's darker than the front where it's gonna be most pale. So let's see, there we go. So then for when you have and that's accompanied by this like forward bulge, this U shape. But then when the fabric goes back, it's gonna make an upside down U shape visually. And that's gonna be accompanied by like this whole area is gonna be darker than this one coming forward. And so you're also gonna wanna just drag in a little bit of darkness there, and same for here. All right, pretty quick and easy. And then have it darker around the back, and there you go. So now we're just gonna drag this straight up, and we have more or less some folded fabric. The good news about oil pastel is that it blends really well, so you end up with these very like soft blended shapes. On top of that, I'm gonna just add another layer of dark blue to the lines where like I really want it to be seen that like this is going back. It's gonna be much darker, and then this is the front. So just add in that second layer of depth. You can always add more layers. It doesn't need to be perfect. That's cool. And then I'm gonna want just some lines coming in here to show that it's fabric, and then just blend these subtly up. Same thing over here. You just want to get the idea that there's depth and it's not a two-dimensional figure, it's a three-dimensional figure. You can also add in some up here too. Show that it's rounded and three-dimensional. Cool. So there you have it. Pretty quick and easy ghost. Another thing I guess we can add is we can add a face. So we just put in two cute little eyes. And a nose. Maybe a little bit of a mouth. Maybe it's a mouth. It's a mouth. I'm just blending it right in with the light blue. So it's a similar color palette. He's cute. He's adorable. I'm gonna make him look a little bit more like my cartoon character with the longer eyes. Although my character doesn't have a mouth, but that's fine. It's actually a lot of fun and very challenging to animate a character, or draw a character that has emotion and is expressing emotion to different situations, but who doesn't have most normal facial features, because we convey our facial, we convey our happiness and our sadness and whatever through our facial features. So It's kind of hard when they only have eyes, but our eyes are pretty expressive. They're probably more expressive than mouth, or certainly the nose. But yeah, there you have it. There's a ghost. So I did say I would clean up the background. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my black, well, first thing I'm gonna try to do is just buff out some of the fingerprints. And they don't really want to come out, so just, you know, cheater's trick. Just add on black. That's literally all you have to do. I'll blend it in a little bit, but really, when there's nothing else you can do, it's like white out. Cool. There we have it. Happy little ghost. I think he's good. So, last thing I wanted to talk about, as promised, is I did just create a book, which is somewhere. Not sure where. It is under my video camera. So, about a year ago, I started drawing this like random character in my room in college, and it was a ghost, and it was like a friend of this witch, and they lived in a mansion in San Francisco, and at this point I never thought I'd live or work in San Francisco. So it was just like pretty random, and I spent maybe a summer drawing. Like every single day I drew a new one, and like my friends thought they were really good. I thought they were like okay, but never really thought I would make anything of it. And then I recently decided, like, you know, the power is in your hands to create and to move forward and to make new projects. And I've really been on this huge, like, inspirational hype of just, like, making art more accessible, like, being able to do projects and feel pretty confident in my work. And so I decided that I would just, like, draw 55 something, like, illustrations for this book, just write a children's book, just do it in a day. And it took, like, it took 2 days of work over the course of like 2 weeks to just finish everything, to just like one day I wrote the whole thing and did a few illustrations, and then a couple weeks later I sat down and was like, need to do it, and then I just illustrated the entire book. So I want to show it off just a little bit, but this is like, I think it's pretty cool. This is just a mock-up I made. The actual printed book is 6 by 6 inches, but to me, just the concept of being able to create a project like this, like I feel like so many people are like, oh, I could never do anything like that, but it's really just, yeah, I mean, it's just having the determination to like sit down and grind, and I think I just wanted to put that out there, that like it's possible for anyone to make anything, and if you have a project you want to work on, figure out a way to do it. And part of that is just like sitting down and doing it. Like I do these videos every single Tuesday. I sit down, you know, no matter like what my mood is or like what happened to me during the day, like it's a time for me to reflect and to make art. And that consistency is what's really important for being able to make stuff like this happen. So that's my spiel for the day. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the little ghost. And have a good one.